So today we are starting with a very important topic, that is final accounts. You must have seen this final accounts chapter in your 11th standard as well. Let me tell you, the 11th standard topic was final accounts for proprietary concern. And this year we are going to concentrate on final accounts for partnership concern. So this being a major shift or maybe major change from proprietorship to partnership final accounts. So 12th standard is majorly understanding the final accounts, or rather majorly understanding the accounting for partnership concern. In 12th standard, you start with understanding the partnership final account. And go ahead with admission, retirement, and death of partner. Okay. So subsequently, after we complete our partnership final accounts part, we'll move on to this particular part. And of course, then there is dissolution, and there is one more part which is not included but will come of course in your subsequent grids, that is piecemeal distribution. Okay, so this is how a partnership accounting is divided in sections. We are just going to understand what is partnership final accounts as of now. That too, we are just concentrating on what is the process of final accounts and just two adjustments. So we come here with steps for final accounts. Now let us understand, final accounts is a concept. By the name itself, you can say it is the final process or final step of entire accounting process. We call it as grand finale. Why grand finale? Because before you complete or we come down to this particular part of accounting, we have to consider number one, bookkeeping. Now what is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is recording transactions. Now this recording is also again divided in two parts. One is journalizing and then it is posting. The same steps are mentioned here. So first is preparation of journal. From journalizing we are going here to preparation of journal, and from posting we are moving to preparation of ledger. So these two steps lay the base for final accounting. Unless you complete this particular base of your accounting, you won't come to this particular stage of final accounts. Assuming that you know these two processes, I am moving ahead to the third part of it, because this was already been covered in 11th standard. Now we move ahead to third part, that is trial balance. Now what is trial balance? A trial balance is collection of ledgers on particular date. right? So for example, if at all I say I have debtors, I have creditors, bank balance, cash balance, etc. Now all these things will keep on changing throughout the year. There would not be any stable figure into this particular ledgers. So somewhere into the lifetime, or might be somewhere into the cycle of understanding what is your profitability, we need to stop this cycle and understand the profitability. To understand that profitability, we need to stop the accounting process and restart, right? So that particular stop is called as trial balance. Now the day when we stop, or the day when we decide to stop and understand the profitability, that day end balance will be collected and added to this trial balance. Now trial balance is typically divided in two segments. One is debit and credit. So all the debit balance will be added here, all the credit balance will be added here, and then you see this should match. That simply shows that arithmetically you have entire process of accounting is followed correctly. This just gives you arithmetic accuracy. Trial balance का काम हो गया. Next we move out to final accounting process, that is financial accounting. Now generally what happens is, after you complete your trial balance, there is something which is coming after that. So that is called as adjustments. Now here we are going to see what is adjustment actually. So for example, if at all your accountant has completed your journal books, he has posted from journal to ledgers. Now after ledgers he has also made trial balance. Now what after trial balance? Still people have their adjustments, still people have their transactions. See, officially you close your books. So for example, 31st March, you close your books. Now closing book has nothing to do with your closing of business. This is just for your understanding or to calculate your profitability of your business. Now once you close this book on 31st March, there are still people who will come into this particular period and ask you to do some kind of adjustments which are pertaining to this particular period. So for example, my financial year was 1st April to 31st March. Whatever has taken place into this entire year, I'll have to consider into trial balance and close it then and there. So if at all something is occurring after preparation of trial balance, I'll have to consider it as adjustment. So those things which are not being considered into trial balance will be treated as adjustments. Now of course, we need to understand these adjustments very well, and we need to have the synchronization of it. How will we synchronize? Of course, trial balance is tallied with keeping the base of debit balances as well as credit balances. These two have already been tallied. Now for example, if it will have to consider this adjustment, of course it will either have effect on debit side or on the credit side. To balance this effect for both the sides and to get the figure ready, to balance the trial balance, we have introduced this particular system that is called as double entry system. Of course, in trial balance, we see debit as well as credit side. According to this principle, double entry says that there is something which is added to this side and subtracted from this side. Of course, vice versa, there is something which is subtracted from this side and added back to this side. If this is not happening, this equation is not working, then ideally there is something which is debited from debit side, that is reduced and added back to the debit side. Again the figure remains same. Same is applicable, something which is reduced from credit side and added back. figure remains same. The whole idea to understand and implement double entry system is to keep this balance intact. Now, with giving respect to all your double entry system, we just understand the closing stock adjustment. I told you all, this entire adjustment scenario comes in picture after creating trial balance. So this is after trial balance. So something which is taking place after preparation of trial balance, then of course there is this adjustments which are coming in picture. So we just consider number one, that is closing stock. Now before we go ahead with closing stock, I want you all to understand what is closing stock. Now what is closing stock? Closing stock is the stock or stock in hand on date of closure. Okay. So for example, I have a stock of rupees 50,000 on 31st March. So this particular stock which is with me on this particular date is called as closing stock. Of course, stock is my asset, and for simple reason, this stock is generated from factory. Since it is generated from factory, we need to bring it down to our asset list, and hence we pass a small journal entry, that is closing stock account debit to trading account. Whatever amount is 50,000. Now this particular entry is actually an adjustment entry. This entry has its own effects. So number one effect will of course go to credit side of trading account. So for example, this is your trading account. This is your credit side of trading account. This is your debit side. So credit side we say buy closing stock 50,000, and second effect of this particular adjustment will go into balance sheet. That is on the asset side of balance sheet. That too into current assets. So this is how typically we post an adjustment. Every adjustment has its own journal entry, and with respect to journal entry we give them a proper placement. So this is particular adjustment of closing stock. Now let me tell you guys, this adjustment is bound to come, which carries 2 marks. This is one of the simplest adjustment into entire problem of your financial accounts, and this is generally observed that this adjustment is absolutely occurring in each and every paper. So it's very simple. You can see here we have just made a small journal entry, and according to journal entry we have just posted this adjustment. This particular process gives you 2 marks. Okay. So we are going to understand what is depreciation now. Now depreciation is a charge which is charged on fixed assets, or we can say it as depreciable assets. So before we go ahead with the definition or maybe meaning part of it, let us consider what is depreciation first. In layman language, depreciation is something which is reduction in value of fixed asset. Abhi reduction is something which is related to coming down of the particular value. For example, if at all my fixed asset, let us consider fixed asset as car. So for example, I bought this car for rupees 5 lakh in first year, right? So this particular value for the first year, of course, it will be 5 lakh rupees. Subsequently for next year, what will be the value? Something below 5 lakh, isn't it? So let us consider that the car has reduced its value by say 60,000 rupees. So 4 lakh 40,000. Now this reduction of rupees 60,000 is what? This particular reduction is called as depreciation. Subsequently, if at all you go ahead with one more year, of course, then there will be again some kind of reduction. Let us consider it as 40,000. So again this 40,000 is depreciation. Now there could be several reasons why this value is reducing. One reason is, of course, asset is turning old. So turning old effect has some kind of cost. Second is, of course, wear and tear. This is a car. Car will always have some of the other wear and tear. So due to that wear and tear, car is losing its value. Third, time value. And other costs, for example, technology, or might be updation, or might be change in style, and several things which seriously affect this particular asset. Slowly moving ahead will reach to a value which is either 0 or somewhere equal to 0. So that is the time, or that is the period where we can understand this particular asset is of no value, or it is a time to replace the asset. Now whatever things are happening over here, for us this particular value which is reduced or which is reducing continuously is depreciation. In turn we can say it is loss to our company, because we are reducing on our assets. So to treat this loss, we have created this concept that is called as depreciation. Physically there is nothing which is been paid, so this is called as non-cash expense. In this depreciation, we of course are incurring losses, but then it is of non-cash nature. Due to this, of course, your balance sheet will go down, but will have no effect on your cash flows. Okay. So there are several methods of depreciation. So that will be subsequently been taught to you. For now, we just have to understand what is the effect or what is the treatment of depreciation in final accounts. So the treatment of depreciation in final accounts is simple. If at all you remember, depreciation is expense, and expense has nominal nature. We call it as nominal account. Nominal account has its own golden rule, which says debit all expenses and credit incomes. Of course, depreciation is an expense. So depreciation account debit to, now understand, asset. Asset is having always debit balance. Debit balance can be reduced by giving a credit to it. So for example, if at all I want to reduce motor car, if at all I give credit to motor car, then of course I will reduce the value. So with this particular principle, we say that depreciation account debit to motor car or whatever fixed asset you want to charge the depreciation for. This effect will go both the sides. Number one is profit and loss account. Now profit and loss account debit side, that is to depreciation, whatever the amount is, and the same amount will get reflected into balance sheet under the particular asset. So for example, motor car, whatever the value was less depreciation, value gets reduced and the current year value will go on the outer side of the balance sheet. So this is a simple process of depreciation. There is one more entry which is charged after this particular depreciation entry, so that is called as transfer entry. That entry is profit and loss account debit to depreciation. Hope you are clear with this particular concept. See you in next lecture. Thank you.